be live now.
I'll be right there then.
Starting.
Of course, Brian's sitting here for 15 minutes, and as soon as we go live, he goes into the fridge.
Are we live?
Yeah,
We're live. Cool.
it should be up here. I
Hey,
don't
guys.
see it up here.
That's because you're on us. VTEC Academy is live.
Oh, did we lose all of our folding chairs over there?
They're all in
There
your
we are.
car.
Up in here.
Oh, they're all in my car?
In your phone.
Where are my keys? I know I have a really comfy one in there.
Yo, Vic, what's up? He's in Albuquerque.
How's it going?
Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
Go to the Bosque. Hike around.
We just ate tacos.
Go eat
We
some
just ate.
We did.
Why not?
Pat
I
Chili's.
don't know why that came up. Oh, because of
Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Yeah.
Michael Dyer.
No, that was VTEC 93 EG6 at Taco Tuesday.
Oh, I
and
see
Corona.
it. I see it now.
No Coronas though, because I gotta go pick up my wife at the airport tonight, so I don't want to do that drunk.
I was wondering when she was coming back.
Yeah, it's been a month or two.
Yeah, basically. It's been that long?
No,
No, it's been like 2 weeks.
almost 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
It'll be 2 weeks tomorrow.
If she doesn't want to come home.
You know, she's tried to retire. I'm not letting her.
What?
She was waiting for the weather to cool off.
Trying to
and now
retire.
that it's
What do you
cooled
mean-
off,
what do you mean
she's coming back.
What do you mean trying to retire?
She's like, she don't want to work anymore. She's like,
And you, hopefully you told her that, you know.
Yeah, I have,
Yeah.
but she's still trying.
Oh, boy.
Usually takes a long time. Talk.
That's good. I like that.
Slumberjack.
They make a bed too called the Slumberjack.
Yeah, Vic, the wind is blowing at like 30 mile an hour.
Oh yeah, it's rattling the big drawer.
Oh, what's up, Clayton?
Hey
Hi,
Clayton,
Clayton.
good to see you again.
Oh,
Just stopping by to say hi.
Right next to you.
Don't mind me, I'm just oblivious.
True.
So I got an interesting phone call today.
Okay.
Customer asking about something. And he has an EF.
Mm-hmm.
And
The only one you like
he is going to put a D17 in it.
Okay.
And, you know, I remember we talked about
Sure.
the D17, the red-headed stepchild of the
Yep.
D-series engines and stuff. So I asked him, you know, why, and he says, well, for one thing, he says it weighs 40 pounds less than a D16.
Well,
Okay.
there's probably the plastic on it.
Yes, yes, and he said it'll run on a mega squirt because it's throttle body injected, single throttle body injected, so it'll run easily on a mega squirt.
Great name.
Yeah, and you can buy headers and cams and things for it to make it. He said you can easily get it up, you know, to 170, 80 horsepower without.
Is the bolt pattern for the transmission the same as it is on the other stuff?
Yes, he says you can make a hydro. He's going to make a hydro conversion on his whatever tranny he's going to use, on his 5-speed. And so it was an interesting conversation. He goes, "Yeah, you know, you can pick them up for a few $100s." It took
I have
some
three.
salvage yards.
I have 3 with less than 20,000 miles on each
Oh,
one.
there you go. But it was interesting to talk
And
about.
manual transmission.
Plus, they have coil on plug. You know, all of that the modern stuff, and you know, and their parts are readily available for them.
Well-
Again, you know, it made sense. You know, talking to him about it. You know, it'll drop right into his EF. His EF is a DX. Which, you know, weighs 2,000 pounds, and getting the weight off the front of the car and everything. That's what he's looking for. It's dry, you know, it's his day. It's going to be his daily. So it was an interesting conversation with him. I don't remember where he didn't say where he was from. Back east somewhere, I'm guessing. So
I wonder how many manual transmissions are available for those things, and whether or not.
from 01 to 05.
Yeah,
I don't know.
probably a fair amount because I find them in the salvage yard
Yeah,
all the
that
time.
makes sense. It was still available,
Yeah.
still readily. It was the standard transmission at the time.
Yeah.
5-speed. Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Anyway, Is it too loud?
No, she's on water.
Oh, she's out of water.
I just throw that out there
Thank
since
you.
we're always bad mouthing D17 whenever it comes to engines. You know, there are still people doing stuff with them. You know. Oh, the other thing you talked about was they make really good torque
Well, yeah.
because of the stroke. You can't rev them real high, he said, but they make good low end. And that's, you know.
So I don't know if you remember this. Bernardo had a project called the Super D. When he was building a D17. You
Is
can hear
there
it?
water
The
drinking?
water.
Are the
I
mics
was
actually?
like, wow,
how are the
this
mics
has been
picking
so
that up
loud.
from over?
It's just way louder than anything that's
Yeah,
happening right now
Yeah.
in the room.
I guess we had to talk louder then, so they
Yeah.
pick up.
I mean, it picks
So-
up
It's like another
Bernardo
kind
did
of
something called the Super D.
live stream.
He used
Yeah.
a combination of parts already made by Honda in order to get a D17 crank into a D16 block,
Okay,
so that he could have a long stroke
right.
D16. And I
Yeah.
believe he was using, and it was super high compression. I think he was using the hydrogen powered, EK.
CNG pistons or something.
And then
yeah.
I forget what rods he was using, but
Yeah.
that was interesting. So,
Huh. Yeah, there's still a lot of stuff out there that you could do. You know, if
Mm-hmm.
you're of the mind of mixing and matching parts for
oh yeah,
whatever,
for sure.
there's still a lot of stuff.
It's
that's
funny
out there
because
to do.
that's one of the reasons I haven't gotten rid of these engines, because I would like to do a Super D at some point,
Yeah.
but I think I'd like to do it with one of the dual overhead cam motors.
Okay.
So, but anyway, it would be interesting. All right, so we got a question from Hoodie 504. He says, "Can you all get a 2.4 liter cylinder Earth Dreams Accord to 450, 500 horsepower? And if so, what would be the ballpark price of the build?" First of all, I have no idea how much it would cost. So let me just put that out there.
Turbo kit engine.
And how it would have to be a turbo, and it would
So-
probably have to have auxiliary injectors, and it would probably have to have, because Earth Dreams are all direct injection.
Oh, okay. That I was wondering what the difference would be. Okay.
So
Yeah.
you'd probably wind up having to have auxiliary injectors, and you would have an aftermarket ECU. So
Right.
I don't know of anybody that's doing anything performance-wise with that motor in order to try to garner that type of horsepower. There may be people doing it, and I'm just not aware of them.
So this would be an engine 14 or newer.
Yeah, it'd be the 9th gen Accord.
So that'd be 14.
Yeah,
8 to 13 was yeah. So 14
was a
or new-
K24Z,
Yeah. So
which is a normal engine,
yes.
just had
Okay. So
different
14
crank.
or newer. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, there's 10-year engines out there.
Yeah,
There's 10-year period of these 2.4s out there
right,
with the direct injection.
correct.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't recall if some of the Ks also swap the exhaust and the intake
Oh.
Those ones did. I think they had the intake on the back.
on the
exhaust
back.
on the front.
Okay.
Because I saw one of those Accords at dealership, like service center once. I thought that was what
Yeah.
I saw because I looked at it, I was like, "The hell's that?" And this was before like the turbo cars were a thing,
Right.
Oh. Was
or like right when the brand new Civic came out. I think, or the 10th generation, last generation Civic came out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So I mean, boost is the only reliable way to get.
Boost is the way.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So
Swap an older motor into that Accord? No,
Do we have any D series stories?
only putting them in trash cans.
Well, that's because you're young.
I know.
I mean, so way back in the day, I built a D16A1, like first gen Integra
So dual overhead.
motor, yeah. What else? Yeah. And I had a Greddy turbo kit for the D series Hondas, and basically the ZC had slightly different port heights, so you had to elongate the bolt holes. So that was kind of cool.
Woohoo!
So, run hard. Thank you.
Yo, Eli.
Yep.
Thanks.
So,
Have we?
so I drag raced that thing,
Yeah.
and this was, I don't know, 2000.
Okay.
So, and my plot was to get into the 11s with it, and I ran a bunch of really low 12s with it, and then I made a mistake. I put rods and pistons in it, and I went too low on the compression.
Oh,
So
just couldn't get the
Yeah.
horsepower out of it.
yeah, we were running 91 octane rather than race fuel, and couldn't get the horsepower out of it.
Uh-huh.
It made about 250 horsepower. So, but I was still working through the bugs on it when other things came about. We got too busy. All the magazine articles started coming out.
Yeah.
We wound up selling that to Eric Aguilar.
Oh.
Remember Eric?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and he put a B in it and just
Haven't heard from him in a while.
yeah, he put a B series in it and was running nines.
Oh.
Nines, probably better than that too. In fact, one of those magazines I pulled out the other day had him on the cover. I think it was a D Sport magazine. He was on the cover with our car, which is his car because we gave it to him. But yeah, I had a,
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I had a crazy paint scheme on it. I had like a Rising Sun.
It was a white car.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that car.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. And I had the Comtech flare kit just on the front, not on the rear,
Okay.
so it could run pretty big slicks.
Slicks, yeah.
But unfortunately, we never got.
We have a question here from Fernando Cadena. Want to know if he could work on his AP2.
What's the case, Bob?
Wants the case swap
And all-wheel
And
drive.
all-wheel drive.
Wait,
it.
how would you?
Nope.
How would you do that?
Yeah.
There are transmissions available through Quave
Oh.
that you could adapt to
I would have
have.
a forward to
Yeah.
a full. Is there enough room to put axles somewhere through there? Or is the engine set too low?
Yeah, you just would have to move the fuel tank.
AP2.
You'd buy.
AP2.
For an
That's
AP2.
2000.
You're talking about S2000.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a diff back there.
Yeah.
No, to the front, all-wheel drive.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. Well.
You would wind up having to move. Okay, so
Wait, hold on. Let's make sure we read that right. Does it actually say all-wheel drive at
Yes.
2000?
yeah,
You know, but what works
So-
stops them from starting.
yeah. So
Yeah.
that would probably require a Subaru engine because the drive shafts go underneath or through the oil pan on that.
There's
Is
not
that
enough
right? Or
room
is
for
that the Evo? Which engine does the drive shafts go through like the oil
I
pan?
remember.
I think that's an Evo, a Legend.
Well, yeah, but that's not all-wheel
I know.
drive.
Yeah. Well,
So-
my question would be, what front spindle would you be?
I mean, you had to.
running?
You
We'd
might.
have to make custom.
Yeah.
Yeah, and no, we can't work
How
on
do you
that.
How do you figure out the geometry and all of that? I'm not
The geometry doesn't change.
Yeah.
You would wind up using a fork so that you could clear your drive shaft.
Okay.
Okay, with a shorter shock. Instead of the shock going all the way down to the lower control arm,
Yeah.
it would go to the lower control arm via a
Fork.
fork.
Oh.
Okay,
Okay.
so that you can have the drive shafts go through that.
Okay, so you end up with a coil over front suspension.
Right, exactly.
Okay.
Which they basically have.
Yeah.
They're not like strut cars. They're
They're
double wishbone.
double wishbone, extreme double wishbone.
And the spindles, I believe, accept a bolt-on hub, so you might even be able to just make a bolt-on hub for it.
I don't recall the S2000 having a bolt on
I have to go look at mine. For some reason, I think it did.
that. I have a spindle, but
Okay.
I don't remember it being a bolt on hub. But maybe it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, then that would. Okay,
Yeah.
then you'd be able to.
But otherwise, you have to custom make
Yeah,
that
it's
too.
a lot. It's a lot of work.
Yeah,
to do it.
that would require
That'd
cubic
be,
dollars.
yeah, drop. Yeah, that'd be.
I think he's unfortunately asking for you guys to.
I know that.
Yeah.
I said I don't know. I don't know if you heard me say this, but I said no, you
No.
can't do it.
We never work on customer cars.
Yeah, we don't work on custom.
We barely work on friends'
Really
cars.
work on friends' cars.
Yeah.
Right.
And normally we don't finish it if it's a friend's car.
So true.
Yeah.
We get close enough and let them finish it.
Yeah.
We help them with the hard part.
Well, he's in Casa Grande.
Tell you what,
Fernando.
$1,000 an hour, we'll do it. On book time, we'll refresh it. $1,000 an hour is our price. No, you gotta make it worth it.
It's still not worth it.
$1,000 an hour. What do you think book time is on rebuilding an F20C? F22, I guess it should be.
I actually have a good block.
That's what I'm saying. Probably make 20 grand.
But that's not what he's.
I know. No, his layer question was just, how about we just refresh the engine
Yeah.
all the way back?
Vic, you hush.
I like
Look,
JD
I'm
and
just trying
Nuggets,
to make
please
it-
start yelling about J Series.
We don't have the shots.
I like J-Series.
Yeah.
Integron rack is proof.
Stop it.
Oh, Aaron's car on the rack is proof too.
Mine runs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a
It
lot
does.
of
I know.
Hondas that are front-wheel drive, north-south.
We should go for a cruise.
Yeah, unfortunately, Fernando, there's no possibility of doing any work on any customer cars. These guys are so busy as it is doing stuff for the shop and everything.
And I'll be honest with you, the purpose of VTEC Academy, besides having a few cool cars to drive, is to educate people on how to use Sports products and how to have fun with your Honda. So the extreme builds we're leaving them to other people.
Yeah, there's other people that can do that. I mean,
Yep.
there are other people that are skilled at the fabrication part that you're looking for, and you know.
That would be something we'd probably turn over to somebody else for parts like that.
Right.
So
right.
Pepperfish, I have a Vigor. At some time, we'll do something with it. We do have a Vigor in the holding lot.
You know,
Is that what we're calling it?
Reinhardt says he needs to get a tour of the shop.
Yeah, anytime you come in town, just stop by and we'll give you a tour.
You know it, Nuggets.
Yelling.
Is he?
What?
You're about to get
Nuggets
cooked.
is calling.
Oh man, we don't have the first two. We just have to start yelling. now.
Yeah.
Just the yelling.
We're good at that.
Sometime.
Damn it!
Funny, if you let me set our prices, we can make money and not have to work much.
I don't think anybody
You're
will take it for
emphasizing
your
the not have to
prices.
work much part.
Yeah.
That's the important part. It's just enough work to pay the bills and then go fuck off and have fun.
Black Sheep wants to know what's up with
Hey,
the
what's
DA.
up with the DA?
Which
Or
one,
that
mine?
DA?
Oh, that's a
That's
DB.
her DA.
That's your-
That's a DB, bro.
We're not gonna talk about
It's a
that.
DB, yeah.
It's a DB.
It's a lot closer than it has been, so
The exhaust is done. The wiring is almost done.
just got my control arms.
Just got brand new control arms.
What's this?
We haven't put a shifter in it yet, have we?
Wait, he might be talking about.
But I think he's talking about your DA,
Yeah.
Oh,
which is
his DA is
underneath
just
the
rotten
car
out
Oh
there.
yeah, see?
Yeah.
Hi Carter, what's up with the DA?
Yeah.
Oh, hi Stormy.
She just
Uh,
came. She looked to see if there was a place on the
On the
couch.
sofa, yeah.
Yeah. And she's
No,
like, oh
there-
damn! I guess I'll go back to my
There's not
area.
a place. I'm just glad there's only one of them today.
I live
Yeah.
in North
That's kind
Phoenix.
Yeah,
of
it's a
silly.
Lila.
That was kind of silly
Mine's
last time.
93 Civic
Yeah.
VX. Should I swap it or leave it stock?
Swap it.
Swap it, of course.
Just put a B in it even.
It's a VX. It's the lightest one they ever made. 2150 or something like that.
Even a frickin' B20 is a
B-
great
Yeah.
swap in that car.
Yeah.
Is it weird that when we talk about B swaps now, it doesn't register as a swap in like Civics?
Yes. It's
I know
still
it
a
is,
swap.
and it's
It's still a
work.
swap.
Oh no, it's work.
Yeah.
It just in my head, whenever somebody's like, "I have a B swap Civic," I'm like, "Oh yeah, they didn't
That's
come
not
that
a
way."
swap.
Right,
Yeah,
right. We just automatically think they have them in there now.
Yeah, I've never owned a Civic, and I've only ever owned like Integras that had
Because-
those already, so I
Yeah.
forget.
Okay, so let me AZ
Well, it didn't have anything in it.
AZ Marine. Because you live in Phoenix, a B18, B16, B20 is ideal for that 93 Civic because the emissions are really easy on it.
Yeah. B20.
So,
I go B20.
yeah, you can run a Honda S300, get it tuned properly, and it won't pollute at all.
Yeah.
You'll pass with flying colors on the
Yeah.
rollers.
And on a VX, you'll have a lot of fun because that thing doesn't weigh much.
Oh yeah,
And a B20's got some good bottom end.
good bottom end.
Yeah.
Torque rules the street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, now he's trying to sell his S2000, I think. Fernando.
How much?
That's a great
Yeah,
question.
how much?
It is Suzuka Metallic Blue.
Said it had 70,000 miles. That's what he said earlier.
But it's got a blown motor. Well, that's okay. I'd K swap it anyways, or J swap it, or K20C swap it, or
K20C4.
L15. No, I'm kidding. I wouldn't do that.
Well, we'll see what his price point is first.
You're welcome, Mike.
Somebody's asking about taking the ZDX all-wheel drive parts and putting them in a fit. I can't remember what generation it's in.
The ZDX is pretty.
Third gen fit. Oh, is that? I'm sorry. I'm horrible with screen names. I think he is the guy that I can't remember his name, and I'm so
Otaku
sorry.
Garage.
Otaku Garage. He had the yellow
Oh,
thing
he's
that
in
was
the
in our
GK.
booth. He was in a GK fit in our booth.
Right.
I'm sorry. I'm horrible with screen names.
So-
Screen names.
There's Fernando. 13,
T-Max, the
13
third gen
13,000.
all-wheel drive components. There you go.
Wait,
Yeah.
AJ.
AJ.
He was at Honda with us.
Yeah, the ZDX stuff is not right. You probably better to do modified HRV stuff. That would probably be the way to go.
that's out of our price range right now. We got too many other projects. I appreciate it though. Maybe
Yeah.
somebody on here sees that though.
Yeah. Okay, AC Marine, what's trans would you use with a B20? Well, you don't want to use a B16. They're too close together.
No, use a B16 because the LS trannies are too far apart. When I
Not
used
for a
to,
B20.
B20
no, I know. When I used
Well,
to,
I agree with you.
An LS
The
would-
Carter's right. It's much quicker.
no. So when I used to, second gen Integra guys I hung out with,
Yeah.
they all had B20s on LS trans.
Right.
I had the stock B18 on a YS1 trans with a short final drive.
Yeah.
I was always faster than them from a light on a launch.
Okay.
It was faster until 118 miles an hour, and then it was out of gear in fifth gear.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
And
that
that's
makes-
actually
that makes,
true.
That makes
Yeah.
sense. Yeah. Okay.
The close ratios are faster.
Just, but they're more expensive.
Okay.
But any of the close ratio gearboxes would be better, although it
Yeah.
would cost more.
Yeah.
The LS trannies are the cheapest, and they're still getting hard to find.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a good night. Run hard.
He's just playing. I don't blame you. I wouldn't sell it either.
Yeah, the axle clicking mean there is the joint's going bad.
Yeah, regardless of whether or not it's ripped or anything like that, the joint's
Yeah.
going bad.
It's going bad. That click is it passing over a bad spot on the metal.
Well, you see JM Nuggets, my mate has a AG9 four-door with a C30 built engine running S2000 transmission, rear-wheel drive.
Nice. Yeah, there's a few a C30 built in. That's kind of cool. Hey, there's it's like what's the name?
Oh,
The other
like-
YouTube channel.
Like Mickey's.
Yeah, Mickey Andre's thing, torque or not
Throttle.
torque, but the throttle. Thanks. I could see it, but I couldn't say it.
T.
Yeah, T. Yeah, throttle.
Fixing the axle, third-party axle or OEM. I mean, if it's a daily driver, one of the higher-end third-party axles, if you can get an OEM joint stuck back on it by somebody, that's
If you
probably
get it
the best
rebuilt,
way.
get it rebuilt. Otherwise, just buy. The problem is the cheap axles are such crap.
I have a question about that.
Mhm.
I mean, I know that we've talked about that for years. What exactly is the problem with the cheap axles?
The bearings they use in them.
Oh, it's the bearings. It's
They
not
normally
the, it's
they
not
normally
the
use
housing?
they normally use a thinner bar, so it's weaker. They'll use a smaller diameter axle bar.
What's the bar?
The actual
The
bar that
bar
connects
that
the two
goes
joints.
from joint to joint.
Oh,
They'll
okay.
use a
the
normal-
actual shaft.
They're normally a
shaft,
smaller
yes.
diameter, so they're
Okay.
weaker there.
Yeah.
And the other thing is their bearings are poor quality because they'll use normally a needle bearing, so it doesn't have like a roller bearing, like a needle roller bearing, where Hondas are, I forget what
Ball
they're
bearings
called.
in a
They're
cage.
ball bearings in. Well, no.
Oh, you're talking about on the inner joint?
I'm talking about on the inner specifically. That's where you get, because you lose a lot of the cheap aftermarket inner joints because they don't
Oh,
have as
really?
much flex in them. The lowered guys or like the CRV guys will lose inner joints a lot of the time.
I believe that.
Because they don't have as much travel.
So they don't have the same kind of cage with the, it's called a cage.
Well, the outer's
Well,
the
no,
cage,
no,
the inner
outer
has
of
a
the cage, the inner
tripod.
does not. The inner has is a tripod. There's 3 individual bearings on it,
with
and
the big ball bearing, right?
it's not a ball, but it looks like it. But that's
Hondas
how
are a
it
ball
is.
bearing, but the
Oh.
aftermarket
It's
ones
actually
normally aren't.
it's actually a roller style bearing
Oh, okay.
around a sleeve, and that sleeve slides in and out, but and the bearing can depending on which side it's sliding on, that's how it turns.
Okay, and so they use smaller diameter needle bearings in there rather than bigger diameter
And
ones.
you
like
can-
a big
But they're also
Crush
not
it.
needle bearings from Honda.
Yeah.
Honda has some like articulated ball bearing
Yeah.
on it,
Yeah.
so you actually get more angle out of the joint.
Angle out of it, right?
And then I think for the outer wise, it's just a higher quality
What
piece.
The
What-
metal's better treated. The metal's higher
You're
quality.
talking about the joint itself or
Yeah.
the cage?
The cage and the ball
Both.
bearings in it and
Oh,
fitment. The
okay.
whole thing is
Yes.
yeah.
It's okay.
It's normally just it's a slop of
Sometimes the
It's-
cages break.
Yes,
That
sometimes.
happens a little too often. Usually
Yeah.
that's after the bearings.
I've only
are
ever
started
broken
to fall.
inners personally, which
Yeah.
is where I have my experience from. I've never broken an outer. I've just run them and left them clicking because who cares? I've only ever
Yeah,
broken theirs.
a Honda outer joint that has a click, you can run that thing for 4 years.
Okay.
My
Yeah.
CRV clicks
It'll
me.
just-
My
it'll-
CRV clicks me, gets a crosswind on the freeway, and loads up just enough.
Really? Okay.
But I'm not going to get rid of the OEM ones because they're worth it than any aftermarket one.
Right.
And the aftermarket ones normally aren't quite the right length either.
Oh yeah, I
All
think
the
they
time
make
they
the shafts kind of generic length, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right.
So,
So they fit other,
yeah,
other
so they,
applications.
they'll fit
Yeah.
multiple applications.
Okay.
Like, for instance, there are people
They're
that,
sloppy and loose.
there are people that swear that you can use RSX axles on a,
Yeah.
on a K-swap, and sometimes people get away with it, but too often they're too short.
Okay.
Yeah, and actually the Honda factory ones are too short.
Okay.
So people must be getting lucky and getting a slightly longer one when they have it work.
Yeah,
Right,
it's
right.
funny. Yeah, because I've seen a Honda factory one last for like 500 miles and somebody swapped before it went, and then them put an aftermarket one in, and it failed within a quarter mile.
Right.
And
Yeah.
it was shorter. And like the CRV guys, lifted CRV guys, will pull inners out all the time on aftermarket axles, but the OEM, like I'm on OEM axles on the same lift kit as everybody else, and I've never lost one, and I've locked my CRV, you know.
I haven't looked to see, there are a couple of inner joints that have different depth cups. So I wonder if the factory cup might be deeper, because,
Possibly.
yeah, because we used to find, I can't remember what it was, maybe the Preludes were deeper than the B series or something along
So
these
you
lines.
had more travel. in the
But
cup.
even though you could use them interchangeably.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
anyway, and it may be the fact that on a Prelude, the axles have slightly more angle, and then they do on a Integra.
Okay.
On an Integra, they're a little bit more. The axles aren't quite as angled. You know what I mean? So,
Oh,
and it has to do with the construction of the
where they
of
come,
the-
where they
yeah,
come out of the transaxle
Right.
going forward to get into the spindle.
to get into the exactly.
Oh, okay.
So
Huh.
yeah.
Okay. Well, that was good. I'm glad you explained it to me.
K swap mounts for the 98 Accord. You know, I think, should I just sit there and just develop new stuff only and just let you guys do everything else at
No.
the shop?
Yeah, that'll
We're
work.
busy enough.
That'll work.
If you hire us a person to replace you, yes.
Who,
Scott, 40 hours a week.
if we had Scott 40 hours a week, I could do that. I could
Yes.
just develop new product the whole time.
Yes.
That would
But the problem is
require
Yeah,
getting
you never
there
get Scott
40
40
hours.
hours a week.
yeah. If I can have Scott 20 hours a week, we might be close. She's
Hey.
working it herself.
Sorry.
Dog growling at himself.
That's too funny.
Stop.
What are you doing?
Uh,
Silly animal.
But no, we don't have time for that. We barely, right now, production wise, with how far we're behind, we can't support any new products.
hopefully in
Honestly,
the future.
in my opinion. But
Okay.
I think in the next 6 months we'll be able to. But I think we should focus on
It's a highly asked
catching up.
for, it seems, but. David asked, doing K24 Z3
Oh,
swap
she
with
hit that.
2011 CRZ and a 5-speed from 2007 Accord, what shift cables should I use? If you have any recommendations.
So what was the transmission?
K24, 5-speed from 2007 Accord.
03 to 07 Accord shifter and cables, or 03 to 04 to 08 TSX shifter and cables.
He
That's
said
what
it
I-
was auto, it looks
Huh?
like. He said it was auto, it looks like.
Yeah, I would use those. Use that shifter and the cables
My
from
ears.
either one of those cars. What did you hear?
Oh, the
Oh,
slap.
The dog, she would whack the microphone with her tail. Yeah, Stormy, go back and finish your bone.
Mike Benton asked, I don't know if you guys could know this, what ECU is best for V18C in a 90 Civic wagon? I don't think
The
it is.
stock B18C, well, S300 if you can get it tuned, otherwise a B18C ECU is best, so. Yeah, the one from a 94, 95
94, 95
Integra,
Integra?
yeah, GSR.
Okay. You don't want to go 96, so that's OBD2.
That's OBD2, and then, yeah, it causes all sorts of problems.
Okay.
JDM says, by the way, Brian, I'm getting DMs from people following my K-Swap RD1 build often about auto mounts. Just
Nice.
FYI.
Nice. Yeah, I've got, I was actually over working on that today. The big issue, as I'm sure you know, is the wiring. Oh my God, the wiring for automatic is so much more involved.
Complicated,
Yeah, I started off using whacking you. I started off using the electronic troubleshooting manual from the '99 Civic because I figured it was similar, and then I got a hold of the RD1
The manual?
today, and I'm like, crap, I got to redo a bunch of stuff. So it's different.
So you're trying to do what now? Automatic?
Automatic K,
Yeah.
all-wheel drive
Yeah.
in the first gen CRV.
CRV. Oh. Okay.
Yeah, and that's the easy part. It's the wiring. that's
Well,
difficult.
we talked about that earlier, about the automatic transmission, wiring.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, because it's got its own computer, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no, it doesn't have its own computer.
Oh,
It's all part of the same
you're just
computer.
talking about the
Yeah.
engine wiring.
There's 2 extra plugs,
Yeah.
so it might as well have its own
Yeah.
computer.
Okay.
So that's difficult. Then what's also difficult is the secondary O2 sensor wiring is in the car's harness, not on the engine harness.
Harness,
and,
yeah.
and
Oh, yeah, okay.
there's
how
and
do
there's other issues as well.
So you have to
So,
add that into the somewhere, right?
Yeah.
Since it's not in the
It's,
the
yeah,
CRV doesn't have
I
it.
got to add it in. So like, one of the things I'm adding in is the information so that your dash lights up with the correct, drive signal when you're in, low to,
Okay. Yeah.
or whatever.
Right.
I haven't decided what to do yet with the overdrive. There may be something I do with the overdrive as well.
Oh,
So,
okay.
anyway, it's a work in progress.
Sounds like you're making progress on it.
Oh, I am.
The last
I am. I
two-
just
two-
I just need to sit down for a solid 8 hours. Now that I have the correct manual.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I know that's a
When-
problem.
When is that gonna happen?
Yeah.
You know.
On
That's-
Sunday,
I know when
maybe?
that could happen.
October.
No,
No, that's September.
No. From midnight till 8 in the morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
That'll happen.
I would be tired. Although
No, you go home, your sleep, get just all your
No,
sleep,
that's the point is the reason
and get up and.
the reason I can't do this is because I have a job in the day that requires me to do things.
I
If I left,
I understand.
I might as well just go home and do the wiring at home.
Oh, well, there you go.
No, that still doesn't solve the problem of my job getting done.
Well, I just,
Anyway.
I have one word. I have one word for that.
Wham.
No,
Yeah.
maybe it's 2 words. Wait, hang on.
Wow.
He's counting words.
I can't even think of
Maybe
the word
it's
now.
Okay, thank God.
You know.
I mean, the deal is that
It's just
not enough
your
hours in
right.
the day
Yeah.
because I also need to sleep at least 6.5 hours.
Yeah.
So
I totally understand it.
yeah,
Something, but you know.
I already stopped playing tennis and pickleball.
Oh, you did?
Yeah.
Well, it's too hot. So.
No, it's like
No.
perfect.
Okay.
When it's hot, people don't come bug me.
All right.
It's like this now is a beautiful time.
Oh,
to play.
I know what the word was.
What?
Delegation.
Yeah, delegate.
Yeah.
I was just
word is not
asking them
good.
if I could
So
delegate
many
to them, and they
syllables.
said no. I needed to hire a whole new person
Yeah.
because the problem is I can't delegate. I can't delegate except to somebody who knows what to do.
That's the problem.
So, and that's where the problem is.
Yeah,
And that's Scott, and Scott is.
We all know portions of your job, but nobody knows the whole thing.
Well, but that's
For certain
but
things.
that's okay. Whoever knows this portion of the job, that's who answers those questions. Whoever knows this portion of the job, I
The
mean,
problem is the guy who knows the portion of the job that's most important right now is
Yeah.
Scott.
yeah.
He's
And that's a
not
problem.
showing up
Yeah.
consistently. So.
Oh, he has a tooth.
He
right?
has.
Yeah, he's got some.
He's got health issues,
Yeah.
so it's
But-
causing a problem. I mean, it would be,
Anyways.
ideally, I need to find another meet, but I don't think I can afford a meet.
No,
No.
probably not.
So-
But
You can't, you just jack up the prices.
Jeffro asked, which is better for daily driving with a boosted K24A2, an EP3 trans or a TSX 6-speed?
Yes.
the 5. No.
The TSX 6-speed.
What?
You want wider ratios boosted.
No, that's the 5-speed.
No, that
EP3,
5-speed's
that's the
got
shortest
1 through
transmission
3 are
we
so
have.
short on that transmission.
Wait, which one? Which?
EP3.
EP3
SI.
5-speed?
That's the base. That's same as the base RSX,
No.
isn't it?
No, they're different gear ratios.
Different final rush too.
Yeah.
They
The,
were.
the
Yeah.
RSX is longer than base EP3.
Oh, because that's what I
Even
had.
though they're both
I had,
fast
I had the
speed.
base RSX in my 2.4,
And
it was great.
Oh yeah, and I tracked on my Supercharged
Oh,
2.4 with
okay.
one,
I
and
didn't
it was
realize
great.
I thought the EP
Yeah,
was
the
the
EP3 is super close 1 through 3.
same. Oh, all right.
And, you know, you'll be quick, but you'll be rowing a lot.
Yeah, well, the 6-speed are the TSX.
Wasn't he also asking about daily
6-speed.
driving?
Yeah, I think it was the daily driver.
So that alone means the TSX.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just less work.
All right.
I remember dailying my RSX when I put the RSX Tech S transmission in it
Yeah.
with a K24, and I would typically go first, third, sixth
say,
when I was,
yeah.
you know, when I was shifting.
Right. Right.
Or first, third, fifth.
Yeah.
I would just do,
Yeah.
you know, and then on the freeway I'd take six.
Yeah.
But I would just skip half the stuff.
Right, because they were too close together.
Yeah. It was unnecessary.
Yeah.
It was just.
They're unnecessary.
My left leg was getting much bigger than my right leg.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
It's Little Big Timeson asked, do you make the D15 lower front carrier engine support and a stiff poly, and would you recommend it for a turbo D15 B7?
We do not. We do not make any front mounts except an RSX front mount, and we barely sell that anymore, so we seldom make it. But we found that front mounts, if the rear mount's stiff enough, the front mount is unnecessary. It just adds vibration.
If the rear mount is stiff enough, front mount is not necessary.
Correct.
Oh, hey, here's somebody complaining about the magnesium casings on the TSX that you just found.
Yeah, they walk around. Let's walk around.
So here's the deal about that. There's a solution for that. There's a product made by, oh God, what's the name of the company? Loctite.
Oh,
There's a product made by Loctite specifically for this type of thing.
Is it it's like 686 or something like that?
Yeah, I don't remember the exact number, but it's basically you put the bearing in with that, and it fixes the walk around problem.
it locks it in place
It locks it in place.
somehow. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
Retaining compound 620.
What is it? Retaining compound?
Yeah, I think it's 620. It's the green stuff.
620.
Right?
It's the green stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, because you use it. Yeah.
Do
I
that,
use
and
it
then you
too.
won't have problems.
Oh. What if you?
And you can even, if it's not too wallowed out, it'll fix it even
Oh,
that way.
that was like the
Yeah.
ask. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can still fix it even if it's
Yep.
wallowed out, not too bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
And you can switch out the casings with the cord too if they're already toast.
You know, it'd be interesting. I should take TSX guts and put them into an Accord box. I think you have to do some machining though in order to do that. But I think that would be cool to do. Thanks, Danny.
Nice.
What happened?
You know,
Oh,
somebody-
he had asked a question.
Yeah, it's much
about
better
that,
to
by the way.
have the front end of her than the back
But,
end. Because
so-
the tongue, you can tell her no. The tail, not working. She's just gonna slap the shit out of you with the tail.
So Danny, I see your question there.
Where's the question?
What car? It says, is it possible to convert an automatic K into a 5 or 6 speed K? Because it's expensive in my town to just buy a manual transmission. What do you mean convert it to a manual? Like,
I
you're
mean,
still
the
gonna have
only
to
way
buy
to
a
do
manual
it is to
transmission.
manually swap, to put it in sport mode and shift it using the
Which
shifter.
isn't a manual.
Yeah,
It's still a slush box. So,
but it's still an automatic.
Right.
Yeah.
your
So
last two, did I miss one? Above
yeah,
that?
an automatic
I'm not seeing another one.
by definition is going to eat some power because it's basically fluid drive.
Yeah. Yeah. I think if you go back up, Danny.
No, yeah. But he didn't tell us what car it was or anything.
Oh, I see.
And when you say convert it to manual, do you mean by using the transmission
No.
that's in your automatic?
No, he wants to convert it to a manual transmission.
No, but he says that manual transmissions are expensive. So I don't think that's what he means.
Maybe he means manual
Oh.
cars.
Okay.
Changing
Okay. What car is it?
valves and stuff
Oh.
like that.
Okay.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
So what car is it? That's what you have to tell us next.
Oh, okay.
I'm
Tell us
talking
what car
about
it is, then we'll
changing
tell
the
you.
bell housing, stuff like that. That's like that.
Yeah.
Oh,
You just
okay,
put-
so there is no other manual transmission that will bolt onto a K,
Oh,
and nobody makes like an adapter plate for
EM2
other
Civic.
front wheel drive
Oh,
manuals.
Oh, EM2 Civic K. Wait.
It was like way.
Oh, it was way up there. Sorry, Danny.
It was right.
So it's not like you can take,
What's-
well, you certainly couldn't take an EM2 one because that engine actually rotates opposite direction. So that wouldn't work at all.
No. Okay. It's
I think she's restless.
You think?
Yeah.
I
she
think,
wants attention.
I thought, I know what she needs. She needs some of the doggy downers is what she needs.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. Then I just have to give her puppy uppers later in order to get her back up again.
Puppy uppers.
So, but yeah, there's the D series transmission that comes in your EM2 does not work with a K, so it's not like you can just put an adapter plate on and do that. It would be nice if somebody made cast a bell housing to use the R18 transmission because they're abundant, but they're kind of weak too, so it's not like a great solution.
Weaker than K. I didn't know you could get weaker than K series transmission.
Yeah, D's are weaker.
Ds.
Well, I meant like
These-
one that would spin that way. Also.
Yeah, I mean it's
see about
it's
the
just
R18.
it's made for an R18, which
Yeah.
not much worse.
True. Oh, I like. the
It'd be
way-
interesting to see if somebody made a
Okay,
yeah.
Oh,
Target
he's
like
about to
zeros,
put a
that's for sure.
K20 into his EM2,
okay.
and he's looking for a transmission.
Transmission, okay.
Yeah, you're just kind of
So
finding
here are
manual.
your transmission choices, which are some of these are less expensive. The two transmissions I would look at, and there are mount kits to use them, are for the 2008 to 2012 Accord.
Yeah,
That's a 5-speed transmission. That's a good transmission for being less expensive. And the other one is also for the TSX. It's a 6-speed like the 2012 SI, but there's no LSD, so generally you can find those for better price. But I would look for the K series transmission from either the 03 to 07 Accord or 08 to 12 to 08 to 12 Accord. So
Right, there you go.
that's what I would do.
okay.
Okay.
The question down at the bottom there.
Ranger Soldier. Will the stock EP3 engine harness work with the JDM K24 TSX Type S swap?
Yeah, you'll have to do some changes to it, but it'll work. Basically, you'll have to lengthen a few things and shorten a few things, and that has to do with the, whether or not it can reach the map sensor and the TPS and
What about
the idler control valve.
What about the VTEC activation stuff? Is
That's all the same.
It's all the same.
Yeah.
EP3 doesn't have VTEC, does it?
Yeah, it does.
It is.
Oh,
It just doesn't
That's not-
have
Just
VTEC on both cams. That's a cams. It only has VTEC on the intake cam.
okay, but the Type S has it on both.
Right,
So
but
you-
it's all operated by the same solenoid. In
Oh.
fact, that solenoid is interchangeable between the models.
Oh, okay.
So it just basically is a switch that says, oil, go this way now.
Or oil
And
go that
yeah,
way.
exactly.
Oh, I didn't
Or
realize
it's
that.
either oil go this way or oil don't go. That's
Oh,
kinda what it is.
okay. All right.
So-
My dogs are like drunk Irish midgets, JDM Nuggets says.
Solid, yeah.
There's somebody who's having an interesting coolant leak, maybe, although I don't think it's that's where it's coming from. Hold on, let me see if I can find that comment.
How many water gallons can an 07 Accord carry on the trunk? On the trunk, it depends. If you can build a rack, you can carry quite a few.
Where you- yeah.
In the trunk, that's a different story.
Oh, okay.
And it depends on what type. Talking about the little seatless
Oh.
ones, or you talking about the?
Oh, 07 Accord. Is it a is it a coupe or is it a 4-door? There's a difference.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
trunk sizes are different.
Trunk
yeah.
sizes are different, yeah.
The coupe is bigger?
My coupe, my 03 Accord coupe, the trunk you could put
You
12,
could put
12 people in that thing.
You could smuggle with it.
Oh, easily.
Oh
Yeah.
wow!
So,
Remember that, guys.
But you
Is
have
it
to-
an
you have to
African
top
or
them
European?
up.
So if there's
swallow?
any coyotes listening to this,
Yeah. So okay,
Accord.
so Arizona Marine is asking a question: with integral brakes front and back on a VX, you need to change the prop valve if you NA B series. No, you do not. No, you don't need to change any of that stuff.
I was going to yell that out, but that's his
Yeah,
that's his wheelhouse.
that's my yeah. Yeah. Although
Absolutely
although
not.
to be honest with you, if you're gonna run a B series in the VX, you probably need bigger brakes than the Integra stuff. So you can if you put the Integra spindles on there, just go ahead and get the Mini Cooper 11-inch rotors with CRV calipers and do that swap. Still don't need to change anything in terms of prop valve, but that's a better
So
swap for you.
which calipers and rotors are on on mine.
You've got the standard spindles, don't you?
I think so.
Yeah, you got
I remember
regular.
you guys did it when I was out of town.
And I can't remember when we did that thing.
I'm gonna go look at it, see if the 13s and 14s.
What size are the wheels?
15s.
15s.
So that's an 11-inch swap on there, and I can't tell about the rotor with on there. Let me look real quick.
But it stops just great, man.
Okay, this is the Corrado Center.
Oh, okay.
What's with these rotors, man?
Because it's sat for so long.
Somebody like beat the living something out of that.
Oh, we let Brandon drive it on
Oh,
track.
that's why. Okay, so
That one?
If
No.
Yeah, I thought you drove your car. I thought you
No,
drove
we
your
put
house.
those on afterwards.
That was after.
Oh,
So
then they probably jumped.
That's because they sat for a year, and then we finally got them out just recently.
Oh, okay.
So they'll be fine after he drives it a
Oh,
couple times.
okay. Yeah,
It's
that's-
just in the process of cleaning.
yeah,
them.
that's the standard Civic spindle with the Corrado rotors and Integra or Civic EX calipers. So you can do that too. But if as Arizona Marine was asking, he's already talked about the Integra spindle. That's why I referred back to.
Okay.
That's why I referred back to the Integra spindle.
That's what they're for.
What's that?
These were cross-drove rotors that were like they were made for Pep Boys,
Yeah,
and they never finished.
that's
There was a bunch of leftovers.
Okay, so
So
that's
somebody says,
Oh.
"I'm selling these for $20 a set. You want them?"
So, no, they're the standard regular Civic.
They're not big size.
Civic little guys.
You would
No,
never sell 'em?
No, I never sell those
Okay.
things. Okay, Arizona Marine. The let's go back. Where is that? He's on there again. Oh,
Can you scroll down?
no, I say it's just mini. Yeah, just the Mini Cooper rotors in the front. The back you can just run the regular Integra stuff in the back. Change the trailing arms and to the Integra stuff. And just run that. You'll be fine on a VX.
Tony Kart Racer, can you guys tell me why Honda motors are freaking finicky and I always have idle issues?
I've had one that has idle issues.
You only have idle issues normally when that little
The fast idle valve becomes loose.
goes loose or gets gummed up or something inside. Doesn't
And it's
want-
just because people don't do regular maintenance. That's literally the
Yeah.
one reason why these things go bad most of the time.
Yeah, there's a fast idle, like on all B series.
Yeah.
Not all B series, most B series,
of
there's a fast idle valve that's on the bottom of the throttle body.
Yeah.
And that you take apart and screw it back together and put it back together. It's actually set from the factory, but they unscrew over time.
Yeah.
And then so what winds up happening is that idles too fast, and then you wind up with the
Right.
the dipping idle, because every time the idle air control valve turns on, it idles too high, so it shuts off.
Shuts
So
off, so it's
it
in.
goes too low, so it
Or
turns back on. And
Or the map sensor.
Yeah.
The map sensor hose comes loose or something like that, and then
that
makes it
yeah. I
bounce
mean,
up,
if you
bounce up.
exactly, if you have a vacuum leak, that'll cause the same thing. And then
Right.
the other problem, if you over tighten the throttle cable, you get a vacuum leak. And there's also on the newer cars, you need to do an idle learn sequence. You can probably find a YouTube video on that. On the older cars, tends to be a vacuum leak, tends to be a fast idle valve out of adjustment,
Right.
or your idles is set incorrectly. So you need to set the idle correctly, which means you let the engine warm up totally, you disconnect the idle air control valve, you turn the idle screw until you achieve the proper idle, and then you can reconnect the ISCV and clear the code, and you should be good.
I forgot about all of that.
Yeah.
We did a video on that.
Yeah, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Way back in the day. on
Not just
my
Speed Garage.
Yeah.
Nacho Speed Garage, yeah.
We can do it on my CRV if you want. Has a
Oh, is your Civic
it has
idle
a cold idle
Okay.
issue. It
we
it
can do
surges
that.
under cold idle.
Yeah, JDM Nuggets is saying his IACV always gets gummed up in New Zealand.
Yeah.
Well, that's
That's 'cause you're-
famous
that's-
for that in New Zealand.
That's because you're upside down.
Yeah, they're not meant to work upside down.
Yeah. So,
No, what's
I feel like
somebody
it-
has one has an
Quite
interesting one
upside
here.
down, but like at a 45-degree angle, maybe 50 degrees.
Oh, Vinny 32's chasing a mystery coolant leak. He says there's coolant leaking from the flywheel dust cover on his B20 RD1.
the flywheel.
And he's checked everything on the outside of the motor, trying to see if there's water coming through the crack, through the from somewhere up top, and just
Yeah.
looks like it's coming out there.
Yeah, because there's
And
no
you can't really find anything at all.
there's no freeze plug or
there is a coolant.
Is there a coolant plug on the back?
It's not a plug. It's like a screw-in
That's
thing.
what I
But
meant.
I'm not even sure if that's coolant or it's oil. It might be oil.
Okay.
I'd have to look at that a little bit further.
I don't know anything
There
about
might see what happens is when they're building the blocks to begin with, there's holes in the end of it that they drill, that the machining drills into, and then they thread them and plug them up with a tap with
Yeah.
a bolt. But that's just highly unlikely. Those
Yeah.
things never go
Yeah,
wrong.
it's probably
It
coming.
totally do.
It's probably something up top, and it's getting down there between the bell housing and the block, and just finding its way down. That's
Maybe.
I would look up there before I would start.
He says he's gone through it all,
Yeah.
but he'd have
What
some
else
other
is down low?
transmission
Which engine was this again?
V20 and a CRV.
E20 and
Now 5-speed manual.
Right.
I cannot think of any place. I mean, I suppose it's possible it's underneath the flywheel.
Yeah, I can't either.
Look at the back of the flywheel. You should be able to take the inspection plate off and look at the back of the flywheel. And here's what will happen. If the water is spraying on the flywheel, what you're going to wind up with is you're going to wind up with this radiating lines
Right.
as it washes
Yeah.
down on the thing, and you'll be able to see the basically telltales of the streaks coming down, which means that a liquid's getting on there and then it's getting flung off by the spinning of the flywheel,
Right.
which would tell you, yes, the
Don't-
water
don't
is.
scroll up yet.
I haven't.
Oh, it
I'm not
does.
touching it.
It does it
Oh.
when
It's
it's.
all
it's
right.
stuff.
C2 Spec Motoring is asking, why are Mini Cooper rotors the go-to for Civic? No, you might have missed part of the conversation. The Corrado rotor is still used on the standard Civic spindle. The Mini Cooper rotors are used on the Integra spindles. So that's
Which is also EX.
correct. Yeah, if you're using the factory calipers,
Right.
you use that.
Mm-hmm.
The Mini Cooper rotors are only used on the regular Civic spindles with my 4-piston kit, but on the regular Integra kit, it's still the Corrado rotors. Those are getting harder to find though.
Yeah.
Telling you. So, one of these days it's going to be obsolete, and that'll be it. 20 something years, 25 years and counting.
People say we need to let Aaron speak.
What?
Talk.
He
It's
never
overrated.
talks. He never says anything.
He's behind the camera normally. He doesn't like this.
No,
Yeah.
no, I just want Brian to get out all the good information.
Oh. Okay.
He's just looking for opportunities to.
I'm just trying
Make a
not to.
joke.
I'm not trying to make a joke out of every single sus thing you guys say.
Yeah.
Talking about bottoms and shafts.
Okay, here's another one. Arizona Marine. Do you recommend sway bars on a VX or just strut tower braces?
Those have two different.
Two
jobs.
different-
Two different functions.
different functions, yeah.
Two different functions. Sway bars are going to prevent the body roll. The strut tower will just stiffen the chassis, so it'll roll the same each way. So
Yeah, that doesn't affect. It affects how the car feels, maybe how quick it turns in.
yeah, because
and-
it's
and
because it's
things of that
yeah,
nature.
but the roll will still be the same.
Yeah, the roll will be the same.
Will
Because
be
the
the
roll
same.
has to do with with the spring compression.
Right.
And basically, what a sway bar does is it ties the two sides together, so it magnifies the spring rate.
Yeah, the VX didn't. I don't think the VX even came with sway bars, front or rear.
Yeah, I think it didn't.
Uh,
She got
I
ya?
don't remember.
Stormy.
So,
I need to cut
If you're
those.
gonna put a
Duke
sway
laws.
bar on there, put a front one on there.
I need to cut the Duke laws again.
Uh-oh.
But she's gonna scar up Florida, and I didn't know it. As soon as I get home with her, I'm gonna cut them.
Duke claws.
Yeah,
These
the Duke
ones?
laws, yeah.
Oh,
They're like
yeah.
Velociraptor.
You need to get
She'll
Laura
gut
some like protective sleeves to.
I have those ones for the heat sleeves
that's
for
what I'm
like
saying,
reaching
like
into
that.
it.
Yeah, I'm gonna grab that too.
Who's going? Oh, I'm going to pick her up. So
Yeah.
Oh, I'm gonna grab that
never
too.
mind. I guess I won't be cutting her nails tonight.
Stormy and I will hang out down here.
Watch out.
She needs more attention.
Carlton, you're very welcome, Carlton. Thanks for Thanks for buying my product. I got the same kit on my GD.
Best swap for
Not
9th Gen SI coupe. Go,
9th gen.
Jay. Although I haven't done it yet, but I know it's going to be the best.
What now?
Yeah.
Best swap for 9th gen.
But actually, I actually need to
What?
the K24, hands down,
Yeah.
best swap.
For a 9th Gen SI, that's what it comes stock. Just turbo the stock engine.
Yeah.
Wait, the 9th gen SI has a K24, doesn't it?
Yeah, I did.
Just
Oh,
turbo.
it's a single outlet head.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
just
you
use
put
that
the you
little-
put the 4-outlet head on it.
Yeah, just do a
So
head
it's
swap.
Good VTEC. Do a head swap.
Oh, okay.
That's
yeah.
the best thing for the
Yeah.
9th Gen.
Turbocharge.
Yeah.
400 horsepower, 7 psi. Yeah.
That's even with the single outlet.
Who wouldn't go for that?
Yeah.
Man.
Wait, am I in VTEC Academy or an AA meeting?
Yes.
What?
Well, we don't start out every comment with our name and I'm an addict, so.
That's the difference.
Yes.
Yeah. It's been 72 days since I swapped an engine. You know, something like that.
Yeah.
You know.
Said nobody here.
You're right.
Minus doing maintenance.
NSX constant. Yeah.
Minus doing maintenance, what is the best way to make a K20 last? Is there anything that are must do's? Thanks y'all, I just got a CL7-year-old R and I want it to last a lifetime. Don't drive it.
Change
I'm
your
just
oil.
kidding.
Change
Yeah,
your oil.
change
Change
your oil
your oil
regularly.
filter.
And only
And-
put OEM parts back
And
on it.
if you do any, to OEM parts, and if you do any track day stuff, overfill the oil by a quart.
Yeah, always run a quart high on the track.
Run a quart high on the track.
Oh. Because of the.
Because the
Sloshing?
oil will slosh and
Oh,
starve.
Okay, yeah.
You can also, a more expensive but equally good is to is to get a proper
Thank you, sump.
not well you can do that too. That's even more expensive. But have
Baffle pan.
baffled pan.
Oh,
Yeah.
baffle pan.
Yeah.
Actually, some aren't that expensive. It's all the
But even still,
lines that you
just
have
do
to
it a quart high. Even if you had baffled can, you should still run it high.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
run. Oh, that's my name's Tony. I'm an alcohol enthusiast.
Enthusiast.
There we go.
That's right.
Oh, apparently the 9th gen Dan is already Craftworks Supercharged.
What?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, just the good head.
What is that? I didn't see that. Oh.
He was talking about what the best engine swap would be for one.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Ninth-
I,
oh,
eventually,
ninth gen Dan.
eventually I'll get one of those cars.
I think
Hopefully sometime after I do the V6 swap in the 8th gen, I'll get a 9th gen and we can look into that.
So the ninth gen is the
It'd actually be easier in the 9th gen.
9 to 12. Is that the one? Ninth gen?
Is
You guys
12 to
have people
15.
in this
Oh, the
group
12
area.
to 15. Oh, okay. Oh, that's right. Okay.
What Honda will John Cena drive?
John Cena drives Civic Type R. He had an FK8 and then he got a new F5. Yeah.
Okay.
You had a what?
Although
You
he
had,
probably just drives it less than 1,000 miles.
you had an FK8?
Well, I mean, he's the voice of the Honda commercials. So
Wait, he is?
John Cena?
yes,
I guess that's why I never saw him.
Oh.
his voice, not him.
Oh, he threw a rod in his K24 Z7.
Ooh, ow.
That's where
Oh,
I have a K20 JDM K24 and now I'm rolling pulley on 6 pounds.
Yeah, the
What
problem
else can I do?
with the 9th gen is you have to have the newer engine because of the way the crank angle sensor works.
Oh, yeah. I don't understand why they keep changing that stuff. I mean,
Because new engineers come along and say we can do this better.
It probably improves some random metric by X percent.
I like to
Yeah,
imagine.
it does for like emissions.
I
That's why
like
they did it.
to. I like to imagine there's somebody in Honda going, you know, this guy's modifying these now. Let's fuck with him again. Because that's the only thing that ever makes sense to me half the time. Because half the time you're like, why didn't they leave it the same? Then we'd have an easier time having fun with this.
yeah.
Also, maybe suppliers.
Yeah, it's honestly, yeah, it's probably a bunch of bureaucratic bullshit being counters.
Okay.
Threw a rod in the K24Z, now I have a JDM K24A. It's now on 110 millimeter pulley at 6 pounds. What else can I do?
So that's
Or boost.
That's a Craftworks Supercharger.
Yeah, they have a bigger supercharger they
Isn't
make
the
now too.
Craftworks, isn't that a...
Baseball size hole in
Road
wall.
Road
Nice.
Okay, yeah.
Like a 17-to-1 drive ratio or
Yeah.
something like that.
It's got that, you ever seen on the inside of those things? It's got this little weird drive system.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah,
It's
Oh, yeah.
really kinda-
we did a video on it.
Did you? Okay, yeah.
So
really-
I've never run one of those blowers. When I know 6 pounds is 6 pounds because it's PSI, but is it actually delivered the same? When like I used to run 13 pounds of boost on my blower.
No, not delivered the same.
I guess is 6 pounds equivalent to 13 pounds on like my road track or my not Craftworks but my old style Jackson Racing.
Your
Okay, good.
your
So-
blower.
I know it's not delivered the same because you get different power curves and stuff like that, but
But when
is it
it's
still
making
relatively
6
6 pounds of boost from a turbo, 6 pounds of boost from a Craftworks, 6 pounds?
If they're
of boost from-
happening at the same RPM, yes.
Okay.
Because
It doesn't seem like a
Because
lot of
boost-
boost then.
because boost
Yeah.
is one of those things where boost is basically back pressure.
Yeah.
So the air is getting backed up. So what winds up happening is it's pumping a particular volume of air.
Yeah,
At higher RPM, that's gonna, if it's still pumping the same volume of air, it's gonna be lower boost.
yeah.
So anyway, she's ready to go.
It seems like 6 pounds of boost isn't that much boost then, honestly.
No, but the K24, because it's fairly high compression ratio and then decently long stroke, it makes really good horsepower.
We used to make,
on the K24.
we used to run 13 pounds of boost on mine, that motor stayed together.
Yeah, without a doubt.
But that was on a bad head.
But it
I would
wasn't-
just, I mean, I don't know
but
if
it
the
wasn't-
swap's necessary, just put more boost on it.
It wasn't a high compression motor.
True. Well, we're not sure by the end, it kind of was.
It made really good horsepower for that supercharger. That
Yeah.
supercharger is only designed to put out 250 horsepower, and we were making 305 or whatever. So,
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong, it was a it was a weird motor, and it's also a 200,000 mile Accord bottom end. That came out with a bad head. So we got the bottom end for free.
yeah.
But I'm just saying, it sounds like you take a little more boost, and that might be worth it more than
The case
anything
stock
else.
can take boost. Like,
Yeah.
I've seen people doing 600 horsepower on a stock block.
Oh, yeah. On case?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's-
absolutely.
It's a transcope for the block most of the time.
Those are
Oh.
closed deck.
Pretty
blocks,
much
aren't
100%
No,
of the
they're
time.
open deck.
Unless there's something
No,
wrong
they're
with their
open
tune.
Yeah.
But they hold it.
It's stiffer.
They're
than-
just, the whole,
the-
probably because of the girdle system and stuff like
Okay,
that, they're
makes
just
sense.
stiffer blocks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Z7 doesn't seem to like boost pressure. Well, we're gonna find out because I have a contact blower for this.
Yeah, we have a Comtech blower sitting right there that's gonna go on a different, not the
HP Z7.
Not the HPD Z7, but another Z7.
Go on, there's Z7 going to that.
So it'll be
car.
interesting to see what it makes. The Z7s, people are turbocharging those and making huge numbers.
Well,
Like
people are
400
making
horsepower.
NA big numbers. Ford
Yeah.
Piston is.
Yeah,
So the
300 horsepower.
Z7 is the
Yeah,
outlet,
they're-
single outlet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's funny, there was a guy who was taking that motor and he was building them for like midgets.
Yeah.
And he was machining off the single outlet
Yes.
and making like a mini header to go on it.
Oh,
He only
really?
builds
Yeah.
motors for short.
Milling off the
How do
aluminum
they reach
cylinder
the
head
pedals?
it has the individual passages to the round to the
Yeah,
opening.
to a single one. So he'd machine it down so it'd be 4 passages,
And then he would
and he would
weld
make
on
and
something.
then he would drill and tap it, and then make and then put a header on it.
Oh,
And he was making 300 horsepower on the stock cam with carburetors.
oh, carburetors.
Yeah,
Separately.
Oh, carburetors.
I have no idea. I think it was a single. I think it was like a single down drive.
Really?
Yeah, it was a midget engine.
Oh, let's look that up.
Yeah.
Midgets or sprint cars?
Sprint. Yeah, whatever.
Over the smaller
One of those-
sprint car category, right?
Yeah, one of the sprint car
They're
category.
midgets.
Yeah, not the V8 cars, but the 4-cylinder
Yeah,
cars.
right, midgets.
Not the ones that do wheelies down the streets.
Yeah.
The big wings.
Remember, look, I loved watching those little, whatever the mini stock midgets were that they would road race, that were dirt track cars, but they started road racing them. Were those midgets or what were those?
No.
They had the top exit hatch that looked like old model,
They look like old.
like
Oh,
miniature
dwarfs.
Model T.
Dwarfs,
Dwarfs.
yeah, dwarf
Dwarfs.
cars.
I still want a dwarf.
So it says dwarfs.
Oh,
You're an angry little dwarf, aren't you?
are we made too many midget dwarf and references. Are we gonna get in trouble now?
Yeah.
Hey guys, gonna pick this up and think it's something bad.
Midgets, I think they.
Midgets,
No,
midgets had motorcycle engines in them.
Yeah.
That's true.
There you go.
I
Yeah.
loved watching those things on the road courses. They looked like so much fun.
Hayabusas
Mm-hmm.
or something else with 140 horsepower. You know, speaking of that, I'm gonna rabbit hole. I'm gonna go down a
Let's go in the rabbit hole.
Good thing we don't have vodka.
Yes.
Ryan started
Yeah.
yelling
Yeah.
about J-Series.
You know, the midgets and Hayabusa engines. They
Come on,
make
Gavin.
V4
Oh, okay.
motorcycle engines now, 1000 cc. Guess how much horsepower these things are making?
200 horsepower.
212 horsepower. You can go down to your local
Think about it.
Ducati dealer, slap down your $34,000, and get a motorcycle.
It's like
That's-
this. It's like
I-
the side by side community. How
I
expensive
couldn't
those are.
believe it. That they make a 1000 cc bike, 212 horsepower.
Isn't there like a VMAX that makes like that horsepower? But it.
No,
I'll be
they
right back.
never made that.
Walk
They
her out.
never made that kind of horsepower.
Okay.
Oh, first
That's,
place,
I was just
walk
totally surprised.
I mean, that
Yeah.
She's
too.
already in there.
VMAX only
No,
made like 120
I'm leaving.
or
It's
something
getting a
back in
bit
the day.
upsetty spaghetti,
Yeah.
so.
So it's just amazing how far they've come in
Alright.
terms of.
Good night.
Good night.
See you
See you later.
tomorrow.
I'll be right back.
Anyway, that's my rabbit hole today. Couldn't believe it. Yeah, I've got a 1,000cc.
I can't
bike.
believe that you're telling me this right
Yeah,
now.
I got a 1,000cc bike that I just bought, and it makes 100. It makes 100 horsepower. You know, 1,000cc V twin, and you know, here's a V4. It makes over twice as much horsepower. It's unbelievable. Anyway,
Let's see. Hey guys, have you ever had a K-swap Integra lose its check engine light, brake light, SRS, but still retain backlight?
okay, swap and check.
All right.
This is check.
So,
SRS was
I mean, that's all through the dash. Did you check the ground on the dash? Did you check, or is it getting voltage that way?
Are those all controlled
Okay,
by
so-
one fuse maybe?
So the check engine light gets a ground, gives the wire that goes to the check engine light a ground. That's what the ECU does. So the power going to the dash was interrupted somehow.
Oh,
So you might want to look and see what fuse that's on and see if that fuse is blown.
yeah, I wonder
Yeah.
if that might have, it's a common fuse that controls the
It's
power.
the power for all those.
For all those things,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I would look at first, check all your fuses.
Yeah. Just blew up. Best brief performance. Just blew up their CTR final drive in my 400 horsepower turbo. I have the parts to fix that trans. I also have an LS transmission that I could put in. What would you do? It's mostly a street car. I mean, the thing about turbo cars is a longer gear ratio gives you more time to build boost. So that's why you might want to put a longer geared LS tranny in it. I think I would do that. But yeah, you know, when we built our drag car for the Pinks episode, we did a GSR transmission in that with LSD. Actually, I think we welded the dip, which is dumb. Don't do that anymore.
Oh, well, you're different.
I hate to
Yeah.
disagree with you, Vic. VMAXs back in the day, they only made about 140 horsepower. Later ones that were 1700s made more, but that's quite a jump.
Yeah.
That's what 251 performance was saying. VMAX was 1700 cc and 197.
197 horsepower. Yeah.
1700 cc. Yeah.
Yeah. That's the one I was talking about.
Oh, okay. Yeah. See, I mean, 700 cc's.
Yeah.
That's 80 horsepower right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
Are we still talking about motorcycle motors?
You see the question about the K20 Z1?
No.
Can you
Can you trick an 05, 06 RSXS PRB issue to run a K20 Z1 swap in the Civic without ECU codes? Okay, so the 05, 06 RSX ECU, you would have to, the ECU code that would be a problem, or secondary O2. Sorry, my brain's thinking of the solution as I'm trying to go through all this. All right, so here it is. 05, 06 RSX ECU. If you send it off to K-Tuner, they will do what Honda does essentially, and you can turn that stuff off. So that, in a sense, is tricking it not to throw codes. So that would be one solution. The other solution would be to set it up with all the 05, 06 RSX pollution control, secondary O2, vent shut valve, fuel tank pressure sensor, things like that, in order for it to actually see those things. And as long as they're wired in properly and functioning properly, it would also do it without the codes. At the same time, you would obviously have to put your immobilizer in there as well. I'm not sure how the 0506 works, but on the earlier ECU, it's the immobilizer. There's a transponder around the key that then talks to the computer to tell you whether or not it's okay to start up the car. I would imagine it's the same on the 0506 RSX. I don't think they routed it through the MICU yet on that year. So anyway,
So here's another good question about a K24 exhaust size. 3-inch. That's what everybody seems to run on those things.
Oh, yeah.
To get the horsepower.
yeah,
3-inch pipe.
yeah, 3-inch is what
3-inch pipe.
is what you want. 2.75 is probably fine too, but 3-inch is what people generally want.
Yeah.
What about intake? Is it 2-inch intake right now?
Oh, it's got to be bigger than it has to be bigger than the throttle body. And it should be fairly large and fairly long, like 2 3/4 inch and decently long. God, we should probably do a video on that. I remember when we were doing the V6 Civic, remember we had a fairly long tube and it made more horsepower, and it was a 3.5 inch tube. We should probably do one where we like
Intake tube?
intake tube.
Yeah.
Yeah. We should probably test bell mouth versus no bell mouth, test a couple different filters, test a couple different lengths and diameters and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that would be a good test.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like the expansion chamber, somebody do with the step downs, things like that.
Well, this expansion chamber, are you talking about on the,
or not the
like the AEM one?
Yeah.
intake?
Or like even the guys that are doing like 3-inch then to 2-inch or whatever.
Well, anytime you neck those things down, you lose so much volume inside.
Yeah.
I think that's probably what it is. You're losing all this volume inside.
Well, air, a couple things about air. Air, number one, is a spring, and number two, it requires force to pull it through.
Right. You've got friction.
Yeah,
The friction
the friction,
from the air
exactly.
inside. Right.
So the fact that it's springy means that it's not going to flow smoothly if it's starting and stopping, and the fact that it has drag means that you need to have an intake air tube that doesn't have a lot of sharp angles to it and
Right.
things like that,
think that, yeah.
and has a nice smooth entry, and your filter can't be close to other things because that interrupts the flow of air into the filter.
Right.
So all those things can contribute to, an ideal design. But yeah, it needs to be pretty big. And K-Series really do like it.
JDM Nuggets had an interesting question.
What's that? Back pressure is bad,
Oh.
period.
I have a chipped ECU in the NSX, Dolly or something said.
Right.
I deleted my EGRR and get a check engine light. Was hoping the chip would cover that. Is there a wiring hack I can do, or is it a progressive voltage thing? Probably like similar to H22A EGR at my guess. He goes, I could just zip tie one in there somewhere, but it looks ugly.
Yeah, I say put it behind the passenger seat. No, just kidding. That way no one will see it. No, yeah, I believe that it's
Like a progressive.
it's a
voltage.
progressive thing. It's either on or off, but I think there's a feedback loop. So it needs to see that in order to know that everything's working. That's why it has 6 wires or 5 wires going to it, because not only is it being activated, it's also telling you that it's being activated.
Oh, right.
So
Oh, here's a follow-up question for that exhaust also.
Yeah, right. What's a buffering noise? What does that mean?
Thinking of.
Buffering. Can you give us a better idea what that means, Tim?
It's like the hourglass. And then it catches up.
It's like the.
Everything becomes slightly pixelated.
Yeah, right, yeah. So.
Yeah, I guess noise.
Oh,
Like
when
a
he
buffeting sound.
lets off the left.
I think you meant buffeting instead of buffering.
Okay,
Like going through a bunch of buffets.
that's a good question. That
is he turbo guy?
No,
He's
high
not
compression DC, the drag cartel 3.2 cams, type S pump. Engine intake, 2 3/4 inch skunk exhaust.
I'd be curious to hear if it's coming from the intake side or from the exhaust side.
Right. He
So
said,
I'd be curious if
he
you-
says on his exhaust.
It's coming on the exhaust side.
Buffering noise when I let off the gas on on the smaller exhaust. Is the noise, Tim, is the noise coming from the intake or is it from the
So it's
exhaust?
exhaust side.
So
It's on the exhaust side. Maybe it's the small.
I don't know. That's an
I mean,
interesting point.
yeah.
Okay. From the muffler.
So when you hear that kind of thing on a turbo car, what's happening is it's opening, close, opening, close, opening, close, opening, close. That's what's happening.
Yeah, because
physically.
he's got an
Your exhaust,
A car.
I'm not sure how your exhaust is opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing, opening and closing.
Yeah, it's,
The intake can do that because people will like tear the filter or something, and it'll do that kind of stuff. But
Maybe maybe the exhaust is old enough. Some packing's starting to fall out when the pressure
yeah, that's
comes on.
possible. It could be
I've had,
something
I've
on
had
the
packing
muffler.
start coming out of
right,
mufflers
right.
before
Yeah,
and
'cause
stuff
when
like
you
You
look
that.
could take the back pipe off and see if it still does it,
If you, yeah,
because everything else is pretty much straight through except the cat. The cat
Yeah.
possibly could be causing that.
when you let off
The
the,
cats.
when you let off the gas, it's the throttle plate's closed, so it may be causing some sort of resonance
What header's on it?
in the system somehow.
Is it
Yeah.
one of those weird 4-to-1 or 4-2-1s that isn't actually
Yeah.
timed right like the
That
other?
wouldn't do it. That wouldn't do it because it's
Okay.
off throttle. It's off throttle. Off throttle lets me.
it's the
That
drop
makes me
in
feel like
velocity.
there's actually a drop in pressure.
So it's got
Yeah.
a PLM header on it.
Yeah, that doesn't help us at all.
That's the problem. No, I'm just kidding.
Flex pipe. The engine actually bouncing, and you're hearing the flex pipe
No,
when you let off.
Tim, are you hearing it actually from the muffler itself? So you've got somebody
Or from the underside of the car, or
from the
where
other
is
side
it?
of the car, or where are you actually hearing it come from?
Oh, there's a good header, high tech.
Oh, high tech. Whoa,
Oh,
Kyle,
yeah,
where'd
it's
you get
making-
that thing?
It's making 240 with a 2.5-inch exhaust.
But it's got a high tech header. That's why.
That header costs more than most people's engine builds.
You know what? You'd probably be making another 10 horsepower with a bigger exhaust.
3-inch on it. It'll probably go to 250.
I would disconnect your thing at the header and go dyno it and see what it made, and then that would tell you how much that larger exhaust would make.
Yeah.
But that's interesting. That's weird.
Yeah.
Wonder if that's a tune issue though, or something. Maybe it's not even actually a.
Is your actual question?
Oh, we just talked about this earlier.
Yeah.
No, factory RSX axles are not the correct length.
One of them is too short,
One of them is too
and
short.
it will
work
fail.
out. It is the passenger side because I watched it take out oil
Oil filters.
filters.
Oh boy.
So what happens is that it's just not long enough. So that's a problem. You need more water already? I'm gonna take you out to the best.
She's thirsty.
Told you she's thirsty.
She probably already went to the bathroom. It's about that time. You want me to take her out to the?
I think she went back there somewhere.
She did last time we were here. We were here for like 2 hours last time.
Oh, I think
It is 7:20 by the way.
She took a dump.
Well, let's go ahead and
Look on the
wrap up
lift.
The last couple of questions.
Damn, I thought you were gonna just make a Porsche joke.
All right. So
They can't see the portion.
what axles should you use?
Not
You
too
can
sure.
get away with the K series axle on the driver's side, but you need a slightly longer axle on the other side. You can buy a single axle from Hasport. If these are OE, well, anyway, you can buy a single axle from a Hasport that's the right length. It's half the price of a pair, so you can do that. You can also get them from Drive Shaft Shop. You can get them from Insane Shafts. You know, they all make a slightly longer axle. That's the correct length. So you're asking for trouble running the RSX and just changing the inner joints. You're gonna throw that one axle, and it's gonna happen, of course, at an inopportune time, or when you're out, having fun with the car.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
Blasting down a side road and that axle's gonna leave you in the middle of the corner when you need that power on to keep it from rotating on you. And then suddenly back ends come around and you're finding yourself in the guardrail.
Yeah, check out the video. Thank you, JDM Nuggets. Yeah, we do have a video on how to check lengths. You can try that out.
We're totally for if you can find links that legitimately work.
There is
Make the swap cheaper. You don't have to buy our part for that, but every time we see people do that, we rarely see a good solution that actually stays together long.
Yeah, I mean, there's a thread on K24.org, and I think it was by, what's his name? Catman, Jason Kaplan.
Oh, right.
And he discovered what OEM axle bar works, and I think it's a Prelude, and I don't remember what side it is. But again, you wind up having to disassemble axles and reassemble axles in order to get factory stuff to work.
But hey,
That's why we make bars the correct length, because it just seemed easier to do that.
and honestly, if you had OEM axles already, do we? Well,
That's the thing. I don't know if they do fit on K joints. I don't know if you could just buy our bar and put your K joints on it. I'm not sure if you could do that, because that would be the solution.
Oh, because I have OEM inners, but my outers are, yeah,
The outers are Prelude or 5th gen Prelude.
yeah, that's right. I
So-
actually, someday we'll have to try that.
Yeah, I mean the inner joint, you could use that and our bar, but on the outer joint you'd have to use a 5th gen Prelude.
Isn't that 36 millimeter outer?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh
use-
yeah, you don't want to do that. You want to use like a 94
Well,
Integra.
his stock. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Oh, HK, B, and even S2K are all interchangeable. At some point we'll have to try that. I don't think we've ever played around with outer joints like that.
Yeah.
We tend to our
That's
aftermarket
2K. I don't think so.
our aftermarket outer joints tend to work really well.
As long as they're not 32 millimeter.
The rear axle joints.
Got it. As long as it's not 13
Oh,
Wind's
Yeah.
picking up.
Yeah.
well, it's probably good. It's because the sun's going down.
Yeah. Guys, I think we're gonna call it a night. What non-Honda Acura new use would you guys like to own?
Ferrari.
I would like to
one
own.
of those.
I'd like to own either 1st gen NSX or a
No, non-Honda.
Non-Honda Acura.
non-Honda.
Non-Honda Acura. That's a good one.
I really want that late '80s Suburban.
With a 454.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
Well, no, I really want one because the I think most of the 4-wheel drive ones in the late '80s had like the 700 R4 trans or whatever.
Yes, right.
But they make J series adapter plates for those trans. And
They make J series adapter plates.
to put a J series motor on one of those transmissions,
I know.
like a Honda J
GTR.
series.
Oh, Honda J series.
A
Oh.
non-Honda
So
GTR.
Brandon, have we done testing? The only thing I've done is I have taken a car that we had a 2.5 inch exhaust, put a 3.5 inch exhaust on it, and picked up horsepower. So I did do that. This was
Years ago.
2003, I think it was. So I'm not sure if I could remember exactly how much horsepower we made, but we did. So it was on a K24. And then what non-Honda Acura? What'd you say?
I said some Ferrari.
A Ferrari of some sort?
I went one tone.
Birdcage Maserati?
Yeah, it'd be fun to have.
Yeah, it'd be fun to have.
Fun to have.
I just want a Tacoma. It's the only thing. Just because Honda doesn't make something that fits good in that category, so I want a Tacoma.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Gosh.
I mean, technically, you own a Dodge.
He doesn't like it.
Dodge Ram 3500. Such a pain in the ass.
I missed the manual one.
What would I really want to drive? What would I buy?
A squareback,
Square back, yeah. I know there is
something
one.
like that.
I know there is one.
Oh, a
A
Corrado.
Rabbit, a Corrado.
A Corrado. Actually, no, a Sirocco.
A Scirocco.
A Sirocco.
Yeah, I like.
I would like a Sirocco. K-swap, but I would like a Sirocco.
Oh, yeah.
That's what I would do.
I had one of those.
Either that or a Golf.
Golf.
A first gen,
First
Mark
gen-
1 Golf
Mark 1 Golf.
with
Yeah.
box flares
Yeah,
and
right. Those
just
are,
slam
those
down
are,
the ground.
Those were cool.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'd do that too.
Yeah.
And K-swapped, sorry.
K-swap.
It would be K-swapped.
Yeah.
I might have to build one of those.
We should really. Isn't there a Mark 1 Golf?
We have two.
Shop
We have a
back
Mark 1 and a Mark 2, and we can play with anytime we want to.
Yeah, but we have to
And they're
make
caged.
mounts for the 6th generation Accords.
there? No one cares about those compared to Mark 1 Golfs. I'd rather have a Mark 1 Golf than a 98 to Accord.
The problem is, there's nobody to develop the mount kits because they won't let me.
Who will?
You can do it on your own time.
Who is? Who is they?
The other
Deep
employees.
state.
Them.
What?
Okay.
Laura,
We have too many
Kiana,
things to do
Carter.
as it is.
I thought
They
you
want
were,
me to
I
do-
thought you were like inheriting the business down the road somewhere.
Yes, and I'm too busy keeping the production side going.
Well, I understand that, but you know, broaden the production base, therefore you're not dependent upon.
Oh, this guy over
I
here.
mean,
To be fair, right now I need
He
enough
only does
time just to make
brakes.
the production base we have.
By the way, his wife just had another kid, so he's not there.
Yeah, Rob.
Let's see.
Who?
Let's
What?
see, I'm currently
Hard
having an
designer.
issue with my
Rob?
K24 swap in my
I
Del
don't know,
Sol.
kid?
K-Pro is reading lean in the K-Pros.
You can get it.
K-Pro is
Reading
reading lean and the K-Pro is reading
Rich.
rich. I'm confused. I'm confused by that sentence. So it's-
K24 swap my Del Sol. K-Pro reading lean. Oh,
Wait, how's it reading? What do you mean?
yeah, we don't understand veterans. We don't
Yeah.
understand. Is it reading lean or is it reading rich?
She's gotta go to the restroom.
Yeah, that sounds like
Alright,
JM Nuggets.
JDM Nuggets. Oh, what?
Check it out, the lizard people license plate.
What's he doing?
Lizard people.
Lizard people?
Yeah.
What's a lizard people license plate?
Lizard people license plate.
Oh,
oh,
it
on the
said.
Lexus?
Oh, it's,
Yeah,
it's,
it was on the
it's-
Lexus.
It says lizard people.
It did. The license, the personalized plate said lizard people.
Oh, okay.
All right, I'm gonna take the dog out.
Alright,
You guys
so
can wrap
call
this up.
Call it a day.
All
Call it a
right.
day. You wanna go out?
Dog's gotta go to the bathroom. Let's see, they didn't clarify, did they?
The,
No, they never
no,
clarified.
They never did, yeah.
Alright, who's getting up, turn off the phone? I'm not. I get up every time. See y'all later.
Bye.
Like,
Make sure you
subscribe.
subscribe.
We'll see you in 2 weeks again for the next live.
Yep.
Come back if we didn't answer your question. We'll try again.